Well, welcome back to the wonderful world of bourbon. This is episode 5, and we have a jam-packed show for you. I always say that, don't I? But it's true, it is jam-packed. First up, our bourbon haul. We don't have a large quantity, but we have a large quality. Some of them are really some hard-to-find bourbons. And then in our bourbon review, we're going to talk about this Redwood Empire Pipe Dream 101. I think it might surprise you how good it is. And then in our Bourbon Recon, we're going to go around to a few shops and show you what's new and interesting. And then we've got a special feature tonight, a double pour of the Smokeye Hill bourbon whiskeys, the barrel proof and the 93 proof. And then, of course, we're going to talk about our bourbon of the week. I'm not going to let you know about that until we get there. And then Mike's Soapbox, where I'm going to double down on an issue, and it might surprise you what the issue is. So thanks for coming along, and join us for another wonderful world of bourbon. Well, tonight on Bourbon Haul, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. Because quality matters, right? Quality matters most. And we have some bangers for you. First up is Jack Daniel's 10-year-old Tennessee bourbon whiskey. And I know I'm late to the party on this thing. And I tasted this a long time ago, but it was always overpriced everywhere I saw it, and finally found it here in North Georgia at a good price and went ahead and pulled the trigger on that one. Another one that I pulled the trigger on, well, you know how much I love the Augusta Old Route 8? Well, I now have the Augusta Buckner's 10. I'm assuming a 2-year-old version, a 2-year older version of the Old Route 8. We're going to find out. It's a little higher proof, and it's won all kinds of awards. So I'm looking forward to a full review on this Buckner's 10. And then it kind of got an unusual one here. 3-chord. This is their Backstage series, and this one is unusual. It's a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys finished with toasted peachwood. And if you didn't know, 3-chord has an association with the Allman Brothers Band. Yeah, I know, but I tasted other 3-chords and have liked it, and I thought, I just can't resist. I'm from Georgia. I can't resist a bourbon whiskey finished in peachwood. And then we talked about, on the intro, about doing a double pour tonight. Well, this is the other part of the double pour. This is the Smokeye Hill. This is the 93 proof. We're going to do a review with this along with the barrel proof tonight. And then last but not least, it's my birthday tomorrow. And what did my lovely wife give me for my birthday? Another Augusta, the Buckner's 15. So now I have the 8, the 10, and the 15. I got a trio. And we're probably going to do a review of all 3 of them together, as well as individually, and let you know, are they worth the money? Are they worth the hunt? So this is my bourbon haul. Well, tonight we're reviewing the Redwood Empire Pipe Dream Bourbon Whiskey, Proof 101. I imagine they just call it Pipe Dream 101. That's what I would call it. This is release 1001. It is 101 proof, and it's from Sonoma County, California. I'll just read a brief description on the back, and we'll get right into the 5 reasons. It says, Pipe Dream 101 highlights some of our favorite components in our signature bourbon. Maintaining a 4-grain mash bill, this reserve expression showcases older whiskey stocks, more of our own grain-to-glass distillate, and is cut at a higher proof. The result is a craft whiskey with elevated aromas, rich textures, and bold flavors. We're proud to share Pipe Dream 101 with you. That is what they call it. Pipe Dream 101. Why did I buy it? Pipe Dream Cask Strength. I liked it. Pipe Dream regular strength, 90, 93, I forget what it was. I didn't care for it that much. Oh, I say, I liked it, I didn't love it. I did love the cast strength, although I thought maybe it was a little hotter than I'd like for the age of the bourbon. I tend to like older bourbons with a little more heat. I just find it just deals a little better on me. I just like them better. So the Pipe Dream cast strength, I have drank some of it, mostly for shows, but I don't go to it very often. I'm always looking for, remember what I always tell you, off camera, I'm drinking 90 to 120, mostly around 100 to 110. That's my sweet spot, really. I've determined 100 to 110. Well, this obviously is in my sweet spot. I'm looking for bourbons now, two reasons. One, to put on the show, obviously, and two, to enjoy. This meets both criteria because we've got it on the show, and I hope to enjoy it. And it's very reasonably priced. And we'll talk about that when we get to value. So we'll put this back down. But I do like the Pipe Dream cast strength. It's not my favorite Redwood Empire. My current favorite is the Screaming Titan, which is their wheated bourbon. Probably followed by the Grizzly Bear, which is their bottled in bond, I believe. So, we're going to get right to it. I guess I need a glass, don't I? I don't know what I was thinking. I got plenty of glasses around here. I'll just borrow this one. It's not the right distillery, but who cares, right? This is YouTube. Decent pop. And we'll let it breathe for a second while I talk about availability and we start our clock so we don't go too long. When I talk about 5 minutes, I'm talking about when I start actually reviewing it. Clock has started. All right, availability. I would say it's good to very good. Most places, now that I see the Redwood Empire, not every place, but most places I see has this Pipe Dream 101, and it most of them are right at list price. A couple of places had it above list price, but most of them are right around list price. So availability, very good. Aroma. Well, I just opened it up literally on camera, so I am getting a little bit of ethanol, but that's to be expected. Let me swirl it a little more. Oh, and I love these. These called Spey Drams, I think is what they call them. I don't know what they were developed for, unlike Glencairns. I think Glencairns were originally developed for Scotch, and the bourbon community or whiskey community basically took them on as their own. I'm not sure what the Speys were originally created for, but I thought they were really cool, and I ordered a batch with our logo on it, which will be available for sale in the near future. Well, I get, mostly traditional bourbon notes there. Not really sweet, not too oaky, but molasses, brown sugar, maybe a little bit of baking spice. Nothing exceptional, but no surprises either. Cheers. That is pretty rich for 101 proof bourbon. A little spice right on the front end there. It's a little sweeter than it smells. Probably more on the maple side than brown sugar side of it. Maple molasses flavors going on there. Definitely with some strong vanilla. The finish, a little bit of leather and oak, a little bit of sweetness carries over. I still got a hint of maple molasses going on. That carried forward, carried back into the finish. It's a nice medium length finish. very tasty. Wow. Value. I think the list price on this is either $49.99 or $50, right at $50. I paid just a couple dollars more for convenience. I was at probably one of the closest stores I was at doing some Bourbon Recon, and decided, well, I wanted something new tonight, so I picked this up. I did see it for a couple dollars, and I literally mean a couple dollars less, at another store a few miles farther out. So I would say the value is very good. This is a wonderful 101 proof bourbon whiskey for $50. Very good. Almost very, very good. Wow. So we're running out of time here, so we'll stop the clock. So this boils down to, like all our Give Me Fives. If I give you 5 reasons, at the end, what's my determination? Well, I will tell you, at $50, in combination with the experience, the flavor, it is a definite 100% buy. Absolute buy. And when I run out, I might just get me another. Well, now on to Bourbon Recon, where we try to show you new and interesting bourbon that we're seeing in the local bottle shops. So first up, we were over at Sprayberry Bottle Shop for a bottle signing with, that's right, New Riff. You know, I've been a big fan of New Riff ever since I tasted their single barrel a couple years ago, and then more recently, their bottled and bond. In fact, that's what I'm drinking tonight. But I got to taste a few that I probably wouldn't normally have tasted because I'm at this bottle signing, right? And one of them was this New Riff Kentucky Straight Malted Rye Whiskey. And I realize this is a bourbon show, but on Bourbon Recon, we're going to talk about everything. I thought it was pretty damn good. I'm still on the fence whether I want to buy it or not, but it's different from traditional rye whiskeys. I thought it was quite good. So at another bottle signing, also at Sprayberry Bottle Shop, we met the founder, because we met the founders of New Riff, but we met the founder of Smokeye Hill, which, you know, Fred Minnick just went gaga in his Ascot Awards over, the barrel proof. And I've had the barrel proof for a while, but Smokeye Hill just came to Georgia, so I was able to get this 93 proof. So I went down there to get this, and get the bottle signed, and get Daniel's bottle signed, the one on the left, and got to meet and talk with the guys. And we'll put a link to the, it was a real short bottle signing video. We'll put a link in our description if you want to watch that. But this Smokeye Hill, for under $70, the 93, yeah, you think it's overpriced? It's not. It is right where it needs to be for what you're getting. That is a wonderful bourbon. The barrel proof is too. Then now we're in, where are we? We're in Jasper at Trout's, and I was able to find a Jack Daniel's 10-year. Now, Jack Daniel's 10-year's been around for a good while, but it's always been overpriced. I finally found it at a good price and picked this one up when I was at Trout's. And then where are we now? I think we're in, yes, we're in East LJ at Appalachian Beverage. I'm happy to see the cigar batch number 2 come out. I've got cigar batch number 1. In fact, I have 2 bottles of it, and tasted the 2. The 2 is really good. In fact, I would say side by side, the 2 is probably better than the 1 is. I don't have a 2, but at $89.99, I'm tempted. I really like the cigar batch. And then you see right next to it, they've got the After Swarm, which is the Bee's Knees version in a double-barreled rye. And then the deal of the day, also at Appalachian Beverage, I can't say enough good things about Old Pepper Distillery, their single barrel bourbon whiskey, cask strength. If you like the Old Pepper, the barrel proof, you know, the decanter, This is even better. Same juice, a little more punch to it, a little more flavor. It is excellent. $60. It is my deal of the day. And then this row 94, I think my friends at Appalachian Bourbon Society had gone down there to have a bottle signing with Dierks Bentley. And come to find out, row 94 is really Green River bourbon. If you like Green River bourbon and you like Dierks Bentley, then go buy the bottle. If you just want good bourbon, then go buy the Green River. And now we're at One Stop Package in Holly Springs. And very happy to see the old Route 8. You know, when I first bought it, I bought it at the first store I could find it at. And I think that was maybe McFarland 400. I don't remember. Now I'm seeing it in a lot of stores, so the availability is becoming better and better. And this is the best price on either the 8 or the 10 year that I've seen. So that's a good sign. Now we're up in Cumming at Georgia Liquor Barn. And this Savage & Cook, I've seen Savage & Cook before. I've never had it. But a single barrel. I didn't know they had a single barrel program. It's like 126 proof. And they're doing this, if you go to the sticker here, to support, this is great. They're supporting, the proceeds from this are going to help rebuild Bronx Bagel and Bourbon. Okay. I didn't know you could get bagels with your bourbon. Maybe it's just Bronx Bagel. I don't know. The point is, they're using proceeds to help rebuild. There was a kitchen fire, as I understand. And while I was there, I keep seeing this for $150, $160, something like that. World Whiskey Society. You know, you see their ornate bottles all the time. Another one from Ducks Unlimited. I don't know what's prettier, the case it's in or the bottle. It's actually, if you're a duck hunter or any kind of hunter, you're going to want one of these bottles, whether the juice is good or not. So it is one of those kind of like Blanton-ish. You're buying it for the bottle, not necessarily for the juice. But it's a beautiful bottle. They did a great job with that. And let's see, we're still at Georgia Liquor Barn. And if this was a bourbon, because it says bourbon, it's really rye whiskey, that would have been my deal of the day. $19.99 for Southern Star Double Rye. Yeah, that's a really good deal if you're in the rye whiskey. And still at Georgia Liquor Barn, and here's what I say is the problem with Kentucky Owl and why they're in bankruptcy. Their shit is too expensive. Yeah, I know it's a rye, and maybe the last rye batch they ever did, and it's a 10 year, but $305? I don't know that there's very few bourbons I'd pay $305 for, needless. I don't care if it was a 15-year-old. Well, other than maybe Russell's. And Peg Leg Porker, I knew they had an 8, now a 12, but I'd say, hey, Peg Leg, you put this out as a 12, which is great, but you put it out at 93 proof. Come on, guys. If it's not going to be cask strength, at least get it up to 100, 105, something like that. 93? $90 seems a pretty good deal for a 12-year. But yeah, I know there's a lot of people that make 12-year-old bourbons and older, 90, 93, 95. Yeah, I see it all the time. Here's a new one, 6 and 20. That's a 5-grain bourbon whiskey and something they call old money, single batch. Why would you even put single batch on there? Who cares? You said single barrel, but single batch, $42. Don't know anything about it. And every time I see this from Few Spirits, I've got the Few Bottled and Bond, which is a good bourbon whiskey, up like Ohio or someplace. This is, I guess, kind of a cover band kind of bourbon here. Smashing Pumpkins, bourbon whiskey with Madame Zuzu's Midnight Rose Tea. Wasn't Zuzu the girl in that Christmas movie? So Madame Zuzu's Midnight Rose Tea. Sounds interesting. I have no idea about it, but I saw it and had to say something. And then where am I now? Let's see here. I am up at Max in Cumming. Not Jack's, but Max. And seeing the Weller Foolproof on the shelf. No limit. Of course, there's only no limit. Seems to be only one of them. $179. I wouldn't pay it for it, but I know people that would. And then the Larceny. What I find that's interesting about this is I don't see very often a Larceny private barrel. This isn't one of their barrel-proof products. You zoom in on it, it's a private single barrel from Max. It's 7 years, 126.2 proof. I would like to see more Larceny store picks out there. I probably would buy one over the regular batches that they come out with, just because a lot of these guys a lot of these owners, they know what they're picking when they pick these barrels, and I'd love to try that. Might have to go back and buy that one. And then Heaven Hill, $45. That's probably the best price I've seen on Heaven Hill lately. And then here's a new one, Distillery of Modern Art. No clue. They've got a corn whiskey and a bourbon whiskey. 102 proof and 190 proof, something like that. And then Basil Hayden, 10 years? There might be a Basil Hayden I might finally like. So far, I've not been impressed with any of the Basil Haydens. I keep talking about them. But this 10-year, you let me know if you have a Basil Hayden 10-year and if it's any good. It's $90. And then Flatboat. I never see anybody with a bottle of Flatboat, but you can buy it 1.75 liter at I think we're at Sprayberry, back at Sprayberry Bottle Shops for $40. As a mixer, $40 for 1.75. Oh yeah. And then I keep telling people Belle Meade Reserve. I've got one on the shelf that I like the Reserve for $69. I think it's worth every penny. But they also have a sour mash whiskey. I'm kind of hit and miss with sour mash whiskeys for $40. And then Old Ezra. I wanted to mention this because Bridge has got a barrel pick of that coming, a store pick of Old Ezra. I've never seen an Old Ezra store pick. Very interested in that. And then World Whiskey Society again. What is it with them? Then they got a gun you can put together. Try getting this through the airport. It's very ornate. It's the Doc Holliday. It's a 10-year bourbon, and it's like $250, $260. Nope, nope, and nope. But it is cool looking, isn't it? And then he does have a new store pick of bourbon whiskey finished in Tokai barrels, a Japanese barrel. I understand it's supposed to be a little sweet. I've got to get by there and get a sample at $90. And then King's has come along with their own honey barrel finish. Not tried that. If you have a King's and honey barrel, I'd be interested to know how good that is. And then, whoa, there's my birthday present, that Buckner's 15. That's actually the bottle that I bought. I went for the lower proof, 112.4. I could go all the way up to, I think it was 128 or 130 or something like that. I'm fine with the 112. And then Gypsy. Gypsy's got a new bourbon. I mean, I don't know that their Explorer, aged 6 years, was that great. I thought it was a good bourbon. I thought it was I didn't think it was worth $65. But I thought it was a good bourbon and nothing wrong with it. But now they have a $40 bourbon they're calling double-barreled bourbon. Well, you're going to get me more information than that on the front label. Why would I buy it? Double-barreled? What? Is it double? Does that mean it's double oaked, double barreled? Is it a blend of two barrels? I need more information. And then last but not least, over at Riverstone Beverage, I've seen this a couple places. Why they make bourbon and put them in glasses that look like animals, or in this case, looks like a football. But I just thought it was interesting. This is a Canton Distillery brand. Well, that's where I live. Never heard of this distillery. Aged at least 6 months. Yeah, that's what it says. Bourbon whiskey finished with oak dominoes. Well, that's a new one for me. Oak dominoes. Flip a couple oak dominoes in there for 6 months and we got a whiskey. Well, I'm a little over time, but that's it today for Bourbon Recon. Well, welcome to another first pour. Well, this is actually a double pour, Daniel, and we have two bottles here. And so we were both lucky. We went to a bottle signing event at Sprayberry Bottle Shop, got to meet the founder of Smokeye Hill, and I got the 93 proof. Daniel got the barrel proof. I already had a barrel proof. So tonight we're going to taste both of them and let you know what we think of them. A traditional first pour. We're not in a hurry. I hope you're not in a hurry. So let's get right to it.
We'll start
Daniel,
with
if
the
you'll
lower
pass
proof.
me a glass, I'll pour you one of these. And have you gotten to taste both of them? I know I have.
I have not. I tasted your barrel proof one that you had, but I have not had the regular offering there.
And if you'll pour me a dram.
Yeah.
So I'll go first while he's pouring that. The one that's on my left here is a Smokeye Hill straight bourbon whiskey. This is a blue corn crafted from heirloom blue corn. It is 93 proof. It is a small batch, and it is from our friends at Smokeye Hill in, I think it's Colorado Springs, Colorado.
That's a hefty.
That is it, yeah. First time I picked it up going like that.
Yeah.
That's all metal and natural cork too. I like that.
Yeah.
It's
It's got some weight to it.
And if you didn't know, do you know why the bottle's shaped the way it is?
I do not.
I heard the story. It was very interesting. Back during Prohibition, the Prohibition revenue agents, when they would go and try to bust these stills, they didn't want to run into moonshiners.
Right.
So this hill, which was actually on their property, the family's property, Smokeye Hill, was where the moonshiners were up on the top of the hill. Now, they didn't tell me whether it was actually their family or somebody else. But so what the revenue agents would do is they would put these big bells on the donkeys, because the donkeys were taking all the stuff up there to destroy the stills if they found it, right?
Right.
Probably or to bring back the whiskey.
Yeah.
Who knows what actually happened? So the back then there was no cell phones. There was no way to let the guys up on the hill know, like, get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
The revenue agents are coming. So they would put these bells on the donkeys, and you would hear them coming up the trail.
They would know they're coming.
The bell is the shape of this bottle.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It must have been big ass bells.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that's why the bottle looks like it. It's the shape of the bells that they put on the donkeys.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's a neat fact.
So tell us about your bottle, Daniel.
So this is the barrel proof straight bourbon whiskey, aged 5 years. Now this particular barrel is 134.2 proof, and this is also crafted with their heirloom blue corn.
And talking with Smokeye Hill, the founder there, and if I can find his name, I'll put it on the bottom screen. Young guy, very knowledgeable. They are going to be coming out with more varieties of the Smokeye Hill. That is in the works. I'm not privileged to say exactly what is coming out because it's not public knowledge yet, but they are working on a couple more varieties of the Smoke Hill bourbon whiskey, as I was told. So,
and this just now hitting Georgia too for us.
Yeah, and in fact, they were going around. It was a statewide broadcast of their bourbon. So we were lucky to get, and he's got a cool signature. He's just, I mean, he can sign those things so fast.
He should have been a doctor, I think.
Yeah, it looks like a doctor's signature. But, well, I would recommend we start out with the 93
Yes.
versus going right to the barrel proof.
Yeah.
Because I had that the other night and going like, yeah, that's got some juice to it. That got some kick to it.
You remember the proof on the bottle you had? I know it's 130 something, but I don't remember the.
Yeah, I don't know.
That one's 134 if I'm reading that right.
I know it was 130 something.
Yeah.
So yeah, because mine came from Soapbox because when I bought mine, they weren't here in Georgia. So yeah, mine's probably a different batch, different barrel, certainly.
Might have to compare those side by side one time.
Yeah.
Just see how
that's a show that I might not be leaving here when we're done. That I've been really interested lately in the different corns people are using. I mean, yellow corns is a traditional bourbon corn, but we're seeing red corns now.
Yeah.
We're seeing Bloody Butcher is a red corn. Jimmy Red is obviously a red corn. We're seeing white corns now, and yellow corns, and blue corn seems to be the new thing. This is the I think the second bourbon I've tried with blue corn, and I liked them both. What do you think of that aroma?
It's your typical bourbon notes: vanilla, some caramel.
Well, I definitely pick up the caramel.
Some brown sugar there.
It's actually pretty sweet smelling for just a 93 proof. I mean, the aroma is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it coats the glass pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice color to it.
It is. And I think this is, I'll have to look back on it and confirm on the bottom. I think it's like a 5-year.
So that's
bourbon.
5 years as well.
I believe they're all 5-year bourbons, but we'll confirm that, put that on the bottom of the screen. I know I read that somewhere.
Right.
Let's see, bourbon is full of flavor and character, blah, blah, blah. Discover more at www.smokeyehill.com, and we'll put a link in there for you. I believe it was a 5-year, but I'll confirm that.
Gotcha.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
I think it is just such a great sipper. I don't think it, I'm not sure it has anything to do with the name of the hill, because this is actually named after a real hill, but there's some smoky goodness in that bourbon that I'm picking up. A little bit of savory smokiness along with the sweetness. I'm definitely picking up that, brown sugar, molasses, caramels going on, and vanillas, and maybe a little cinnamon. It is very well balanced.
It's got a good finish too.
For a 93.
Yeah. That's pretty tasty.
It tastes above its price point, I'll tell you that much, and above its proof point.
What was the price on that one? Do you remember?
I believe this one was $69.99. I forget what your barrel proof was, because I didn't buy that. I think my barrel proof was mid-80s, high 80s.
I think that was $89.99.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to that. I believe that's what it was.
We'll put that, what the MSRP is, if I can find it, we'll put that on the bottom of the screen. It's surprising to me, it wasn't a big jump in price to get the barrel proof.
Right.
A lot of times it
Usually
is. Like
the
you can
lower proof is
you can double the price of your flagship, of your normal proof, your diluted proof versus your barrel proof. They can easily be twice the price.
right.
And you look
Just
at
because
Elijah
they're getting
Craig
more
barrel
bottles.
proof and Elijah Craig 94. Yeah.
Yeah. They get a lot more bottles when they start diluting it down.
Yeah. But
No, that's good.
as far as I know, right now they only have 2, but they do have more in the works. So this is going to be one of those companies that when you see a press release or something about it, you want to pay attention to.
Keep an eye out for it.
Because they got it right the first time with both of these. There's no telling what they're going to come out with next.
Yeah.
Now,
Ready to get to the next one here?
Go up to the Nectar of the Gods,
Yep.
barrel proof. Wow.
Ooh. Yeah, you definitely get the proof right there, don't
Yeah, you do.
you? All right, what is that on the nose?
I'm getting a little bit different on the barrel proof
Yeah,
than I did
there's
93.
something there that I can't quite put my finger on.
Me, it's almost like a licorice.
Yes, there you go.
It's
Yep.
almost like a licorice
Yep.
that's coming off that a kind of a candy sweetness that I didn't get in the aroma of this one.
Yeah,
It also smells wonderful.
it does. It's a good nose. You do get a little bit of ethanol right up front.
Yeah, I did.
Once you get past that,
Well,
it's a
we just
fresh
opened
crack.
it.
Yeah,
Fresh crack, right? That's
it
something
smells
else.
good. Cheers.
Now, what I do remember from this, and it's true, you get a boatload of spice on this one.
Yeah,
I mean, the pepper just lights you up in the front. And, oh, it's so rich.
yeah,
I mean, I love this one as an everyday sipper. It's fantastic. This is like exponential.
yeah. It's definitely
It is. It's got it's obviously the higher proof, but that intensity of flavor, that richness, that almost overload of on that first sip of baking spices. It just, I mean, hits you like boom,
yeah, right up front,
right up front.
and it carries on back too.
And I didn't get a Kentucky hug on this one. This one,
Oh yeah, yeah.
wow,
You're feeling
a nice one.
You're feeling that guy all the way down.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't take much to enjoy the evening with this one. You wouldn't need but a dram or two, and you're set for the evening. Wow.
It's good. It's really, really good. But you definitely know you're drinking a higher proof bourbon with that one.
And so much spice too. It just
Yeah, the
it's
spice
crazy
hits you.
how much. Yeah, I get the proof, but so much more spice in the barrel proof.
Yeah,
I like the spice level in this. This is a very easy drinker.
Mm-hmm.
This one's like you want small sips because you don't need a lot across that palate because it coats like crazy.
yeah. It coats the palate really well.
It's like it just painted my tongue with bourbon.
I didn't realize it was a 4 grain until you said that. I hadn't read the back of the bottle. You literally handed me this bottle and we sit down to record the video.
I actually did. Like, here you go.
But I enjoy both of those for totally different reasons.
Yeah. For totally different occasions, maybe
Yes.
different friends. You got someone that's new to bourbon, like, oh, I don't know. I've tasted, I'm not sure I like bourbon. Try them out with this.
Yes.
They'll be a fan. You got someone that like, oh, well, you know, I've been kind of disappointed by all the bourbons out there these days. Let them try this one.
Yeah, it's definitely a flavor ride, and then it punches you in the mouth. I mean, you know you're drinking high proof bourbon with that guy. I've had higher proof bourbons that drink a lot less proofy than this one does, for sure. But I enjoy this one as well. I mean, but yeah, like you said, you don't want to give this to somebody just starting their bourbon journey for sure.
You've heard what we've thought about each of the bourbons. It boils down to, in the end, value and whether we recommend it. I would say that my impression, I'll let you give your own,
Sure.
that the 93, I think, is a good value for the money. There's a lot of bourbons around that price point, around that flavor wheel that I think that competes with very well. I think it's a good value. On the barrel proof, I think it's a great value because there's not a lot of bourbons that have this much intensity that you'll find under $90. A lot of them are that $125, $150. So to me, this is the value. This is the deal of the day as far as what you're getting for what you're paying. And what do you think, Daniel?
No, I'm with you. I think both are a good value for sure. I know a lot of people, when they see that lower proof point, they're going to kind of dismiss that one for the price. But I'm telling you, don't overlook it. It is
Oh,
a great sipper at that proof point. I would definitely recommend that one. And this one, yes, this is a totally different animal compared to that
different
one.
experience.
Different
Yeah.
experience for sure, but it is good. But you've got to be prepared for that flavor ride when you take a sip of it, because it's going to take you on a ride for sure.
Well, that's our review of the Smokeye Hill Bourbon, the 93 and the Barrel Proof. They're both buy recommendations from us. So please like this video, comment, and share. And if you have a Smokeye Hill, tell us what you think about it. But Daniel, I could toast you with either one of these. These are fantastic.
I'm going to go back to the barrel.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Keep it neat.
Well, now it's time for our Bourbon of the Week. And this is a bourbon that you've seen. In fact, you've seen it twice. You've seen its bigger brother, the Barrel Proof, and you've seen it tonight on the show when I compared both of them together. In fact, Daniel and I went kind of like gaga over this. It is a wonderful bourbon whiskey. And what is that bourbon whiskey? Smokeye Hill 93 proof. Now, just because it's a signed bottle doesn't mean I'm not going to drink it. Hell yeah, I'm going to drink it. This stuff is great. I've been drinking it on and off all week. I've been enjoying making videos about it, and it is my Bourbon of the Week. Cheers. Well, now it's time for Mike's Soapbox, where I give you a piece of my mind, but more likely just drink more bourbon. That's delicious. Smokeye Hill straight bourbon whiskey with blue corn. Can't go wrong with that. The 93 proof or the barrel proof. Excellent bourbon whiskey, by the way. So, the topic, I'm doubling down. And what am I doubling down on? I'm doubling down on bourbon. And why is that? Because I'm seeing some channels, some whiskey and bourbon channels, moving out of whiskey and bourbon into other clear spirits, whether it be gin, rum, or now tequila. And I get it. Tequila is very popular. Tequila in some stores, or a lot of stores, is outselling bourbon. And there's a downturn in bourbon and American whiskey. I get that. But I'm doubling down on bourbon, and I'm doubling down on American whiskey. I have no plans of opening a segue into gin, rum, or tequila. You're not going to see shows about that. I have talked about that on other shows, and I have shown in bottle shops where those sections are, but you're not going to see me reviewing any gin, tequila, rum, any of that stuff. Why? Because I'm a bourbon channel, and I'm doubling down on bourbon because that's where I got my start in whiskey, and that's where I'm going to stay. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not trying to get more viewers from other segments. I'm pulling them in. I'm all about bourbon, and if you are too, well, you're in the right place, because we're all about bourbon and American whiskey. So we're glad you're here, and we're glad you put up with me for another Mike's Soapbox. Cheers. Well, that does it for our episode 5 of the Wonderful World of Bourbon. We really enjoyed doing that double pour with Daniel at the Appalachian Bourbon Society. Daniel is putting out a lot of content for the Bourbon Riders channel. Sometimes you'll see him instead of me, and I know I'm prettier, but Daniel's doing a great job, so welcome him aboard and watch his videos. And come back for another episode of the Wonderful World of Bourbon.